Welcome to Brands Hatch for rounds 8, 9 and 10 of Mini Challenge 2013. The racing action is actually headlining this weekend the annual Mini Festival, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Coopers. If you fancied having a go at this yourself, then the hospitality tent is the place to be, because at every race meeting for the rest of this season, they're hosting the Scalextric Mini Challenge competition, and it's in support of the Rainbow Trust Children's Charity. So Edward, first of all, tell us a little bit about the charity.
Rainbow Trust is a children's charity. We've been going for 26 years and we provide practical and emotional support for families who have children with a life-threatening or terminal illness. And what's unique about what we do is there's no time limit on the care, and it can be whatever's needed, emotional or practical, as I said.
So how did this all come about, this whole Scalextric competition? It's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, we're absolutely loving it. It's fantastic that Mini Challenge and Scalextrics have invited us down here today. We've brought a few families along and they're having a fantastic day out. They're loving the cars and we're having a real difficulty getting them off the Scalextrics tracks.
So how this competition works is it's 10 laps, it takes about a minute, and the fastest across the day actually wins themselves a Scalextric set, which is pretty cool. Right, guys? I've got Tom, I've got Jamie, and we're now going to race. Go. So after yesterday's epic battle, Lee Allen has secured his pole position ahead of Jake Packen in the JCW class, and up front for the Cooper class is Hamish Brandon. Let's go racing.
Large crowd, rolling start here at the Mini Festival, and this is how they line up with the front row of the grid: Lee Allen and Jake Packen. Row 2, Chris Smiley and Lawrence Davey, and then the third row, Chris Smith and William Davis has been going very well all weekend from Kevin O'Connor and Andy Wilmot. Then we've got Patrick Mortimer and Bob Posier. Craig Creep and John O'Brown had problems yesterday, as did Luke Cordell and Stuart Gould, so watch for them coming through. Then we have the separation back to the Cooper class grid, headed up by Hamish Brandon and Josh Gollin, with Ollie Walker and Gideon Cresswell on row 2, from Justin Taylor and Adrian Norman. But look at this, at the very back of the field, the two fastest men in qualifying, Ricky Page and Shane Stoney, had problems in race 1. Let's see how they get on as the pace car pulls in, and we're about to go racing here on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. There's number 2, Luke Cordell, trying and maybe just position himself perfectly for the start as the field rumble to the start finish line. Lights go green and away we go. Racing here at Brands Hatch, it's the black car of Jake Packen who goes wheel to wheel with the blue machine of Lee Allen into Paddock Hill Bend, and around the outside goes Packen, who takes the early advantage. Is Lee Allen in second, Chris Smiley is up to third. Everybody cleanly through as they climb up towards Drew. The first time it's Josh Gollin who's taken the early advantage in the Cooper class as well. There's Gollin, number 77, the white car, as around the outside for the back row of the grid comes Ricky Page in the number 33 machine. So Page has made a super start, as has Jake Packen, who leads the pack along the Cooper straight for the first time. Lee Allen busy defending from Chris Smiley. In fourth place, the black car of Lawrence Davey, looking to do much the same from William Davison, and then Chris Smith in black and orange number 10 car, who's rather been shuffled down in the opening exchanges, and Packen tries to make his escape. The rest of the field all queuing up behind Lee Allen, but this could be deceptive, because in the first race of the weekend, Lee very clearly set his car up to work best in the second half of the race, and so expect to see Lee Allen come on strong as the race progresses. In the meantime though, he's going to have to defend into Paddock Hill Bend from Chris Smiley. Allen runs a little bit wide, but able to hold the line as he charges up Hailwood Hill into the braking zone for the hairpin at Druids, as Davey looks to the outside of Smiley. Lawrence Davey, former Legends champion, had a wretched time here on the Grand Prix circuit back in May. It's been going much better though on the Indy circuit. He's worked very hard to get that car set up just to his liking. It's now going very nicely as we head to the battle for the field of the Cooper class runners, with Josh Gollin just clear of Hamish Brandon, Ricky Page and Ollie Walker. Down they come. This is the fight for the class lead. Very, very intense scrapping, as is always the case in the Cooper class, really. The home to some very, very fine and talented young drivers. Accelerating through, leading the race overall, and the JCW class, Jake Packen, you can see the margin he's pulling out over Lee Allen, who's still comes under concerted pressure from Chris Smiley with Lawrence Davey and Chris Smith following behind him. Then that gap back to Davison. Field all climb up Harewood Hill, work around the hairpin at Druids before heading back down towards Graham Hill Bend. And Smiley for the moment just content to follow in behind Lee Allen. Let Allen make the running. As in the meantime, we've seen a change of lead in the Cooper class, and it's Hamish Brandon who moves to the head of the field. Golin busy defending from Ollie Walker. It's Walker who looks to the outside in the green group car, and he's got a good run here on Josh Golin. Golin squeezed him out though over the grasscrete on the Exeter Druids. And Will Walker looked to pounce the inside line into Graham Hill Bend, and also the back of that shot you can see looming large the bright red car of Shane Stoney, the runaway Cooper class leader in terms of championship points. Jinking through Surtees and McLaren, then the fight for second in the Cooper class. Ollie Walker then making his move into clearways. Oh, that's a lovely move from Ollie Walker. He just saw the gap there that Josh Golin left him, and through he went. To Ricky Page is also following through. Shane Stoney attempting to do the same, and this is the beauty of the mini challenge. These cars so evenly matched and the field so competitive that the tiniest of errors can see you losing 4 or 5 places in one fell swoop, and that's exactly what's happened to Josh Golin. He left a car's width into clearways. He's been punished by loss of 3 places. Gideon Cresswell trying very, very hard to get on terms as well, as he gets it all sideways through Paddock Hill Bend. Around Druids they come. Meanwhile, Jake Packard still leads the way as Lee Allen once more comes under pressure from Chris Smiley. Smiley in the red car all over the tail of Allen. It's particularly Paddock Hill Bend where Smiley really fancies his chances, breaking very deep into the corner, but they're about to encounter a little bit of traffic here. It's Grace Williams, Trevor Bates and Simon Walton having a scrap. It's Bates in the blue car, just the tail of number 9, Simon Walton, as Jake Packard looks to scythe between them. Oh my goodness me, he leaves that very, very close as he goes between Bates and Walton. He then accelerates past Grace Williams into Surtees. They continue their battle under braking into clearways. Bates trying to gain a little bit of ground there. Let's have another look at this from Jake Packard. Well, if there are auditions to be a stunt driver in the next James Bond movie, Packard's probably won the part with that. As he's now, though, coming under pressure from Lee Allen and Chris Smiley. 3 leads in the race overall. The JGW class coming together, and Allen's got the run coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. Packard tries to squeeze him, but Lee Allen's going to go through here and takes the lead of the race away from Jake Packard at Druids. This is exactly how it played out in race 1 of the weekend as well, as the race moved to its second half. Lee Allen came on very, very strong, and Packard began to fade. He's now going to have to work extremely hard to hold on to that second place, because Smiley is about to go through, as is Chris Smith, and Smith, 2 wheels on the grass, looks to jink through into third, if not second place, by the time they arrive in Surtees. In fact, he gains neither position. He's in the Cooper class. It's now Ollie Walker who's at the head of the class. Hamish Brandon in second position, with Shane Stoney following through in third. So it's rather unfortunate Josh Golin's been somewhat shuffled down through that pack, as they all concentrate up on the brakes around the hairpin at Druids. So the fight for the lead gets ever more intense, and Smiley dives to the inside, 2 wheels on the grass. He's still going for it. He makes contact with Allen, pitches Allen sideways, and Allen still, though, finds the traction to squeeze Smiley onto the grass as they climb the hill towards Druids. So it's the Allen who holds into the lead, a slightly battle-scarred now Chris Smiley in second. It's Chris Smith in third, and Smiley, well, you can't fault the commitment there, but Lee Allen, robust defence but clean defence, and there was no way through for Smiley. Still the battling continues throughout the field, as Grace Williams is just put a lap down by Andy Wilmot, but she's busy battling away with Trevor Bates as the 5-second penalty ball goes out, and that is for Hamish Brandon, and that's going to take him off the Cooper class podium. So a real shame there for Scottish driver Hamish Brandon. No such concerns at the moment for Trevor Bates, as the race leaders accelerate their way past Scare Electric's employee Adrian Norman, accelerating along the Bradham Straight on towards the checkered flag, which is ready and waiting, and it's going to be victory here at Brands Hatch at the mini festival for the Allen. Second place goes the way of Chris Smiley, with Chris Smith completing the JCW podium. What about the Cooper class, I hear you ask? Well, they are still racing out on the far side of the circuit, as Lee Allen receives the acclaim of the large crowd and the marshals here. Will it be Ollie Walker who holds on to claim Cooper class honours? It is indeed. So it's Walker who wins the Cooper class from Shane Stoney and Hamish Brandon. Let's take a look then at the overall classification. The victory for Lee Allen from Smiley and Smith. Lawrence Davey, an excellent 4th, and John O'Brown from the back of the grid to 5th, a superb performance. Will Davison completes the top 6. JCW class then, the top 3 is the race overall, so Lee Allen from Chris Smiley and Chris Smith. In the Cooper class, Ollie Walker taking on this from Shane Stoney, with Hamish Brandon still be on the podium despite that 5-second penalty. Huge cheers from the Blue Army, greet their man Lee Allen onto the rostrum. And what has he drawn for the reverse grid race? It's the top 6 that will be reversed.
A return to form, Lee, second win of the weekend on your home track.
Yeah, it had to come right sooner or later. We've had a trying season so far, but I think we've sorted our demons out and we're doing good.
Nice win for you there, Ollie.
That's it, win number 2 of the year, so get him out of the way and then crack on with the rest of them, hopefully.
So do you think Hamish Brandon's penalty had any effect?
Not really, no. I mean, he got a JCW, got unlucky with that like I did yesterday, but that just gave me a big run on him all the way down the straight, and then I got him at the end of the straight, and that was it.
A great race for Lee Allen, his second win of the weekend. Can he make it 3? We will find out very, very shortly. Not so good for Jake Packen, but could the reverse grid in the 3rd race work to his advantage? All will be revealed after the break, when we'll be back here at Brands for more fantastic racing. Seeing as this weekend's a little bit special, being the mini festival, members of the public have been allowed onto the grid to get up close and personal with the cars and the Stars of Mini Challenge.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Some of them I wouldn't think of seeing because they're all different.
I think it was really fun because I thought we were just going to a boring old beach to fish in.
Well, there's lots of cars obviously racing, and I'm amazed by how many they could keep on the track on a wet day like today.
Coming on the grid, definitely highlight of the day, isn't it?
Hello turf of Brands Hatch, isn't it? That's what it is.
For the final race of this triple header, it's a reverse grid with Davison on pole position for the JCWs. It's also a standing start. But will Lee Allen be able to make it a triple win from 6th position on the grid? It's time to find out. Let's go racing.
Reverse grid race always adds the entertainment, and this is our line-up with Will Davison and John O'Brown showing the front row of the grid. Particularly impressive for John O'Brown. Lawrence Davey and Chris Smith row 2, Smiley and Allen the 3rd row. In the Cooper class, the reversal applies as well, so it's Justin Taylor on pole with Ben Gridley, a very welcome returnee to the championship 2nd. Ollie Walker then starting from 6th. As we get the green flag waved at the rear of the field, Gideon and Cresswell comes into position as away we go. It's a great start from pole position for number 17, William Davis, who moves away into the immediate advantage. Chris Smith well away too. Saw a flash of somebody maybe going sideways in the background there as the rest of the field all plunged down through Paddock Hill Bend, with Adrian Norman having taken over the lead of the Cooper class, climbing up Elwood Hill towards Druid. It's Davison from Smith, then Lawrence Davey. John O'Brown not making such a good getaway, and it was Kevin O'Connor who encountered early problems, but he recovers with no problems. Also a quick spin there for Mark Stewart. He should get back underway fairly promptly. John O'Brown under a little bit of pressure then from Jake Packer. Lawrence David who's been shuffled down out of sight with Lee Allen and Luke Cordell. Just holding a watching brief, because the key to the tactics of this race with the reverse grid is not so anything too heroic in the first couple of laps. Let the race come to you, and then you can start looking to make ground. At the same time though, Chris Smith evidently feels he's a little bit quicker than the race leader, the blue car, William Davison, and aiming to pick his way past him as they come down out of Druids into Graham Hill Bend. A very good reason there, because Smith in that orange and black car in 2nd place has been reeled in all the while by the bright red car of Chris Smiley, and Smiley's got a little bit of daylight between himself and Jake Packen in 4th, and that means that Smiley can really set about putting the challenge onto William Davison and Chris Smith ahead of him. So the 3 of them accelerate through Clark Curve onto the Bradford Straight, which isn't really a straight at all, rather a long right-hander, and that will bring them then to the end of another lap. Over the line, they flash into the braking zone. Paddock Hill Bend, we saw earlier on just how strong on the brakes Paddock Chris Smiley is, but for the time being, he's prepared to let Chris Smith put the pressure onto Davison. There's Cordell and Allen flying in formation at the back of the shot, the blue and yellow cars. All about the Cooper class being led at the moment by Hamish Brandon from Shane Stoney, and then Adrian Norman with the rest of the field really as one behind. Ricky Page coming under pressure from Ben Gridley, who's been on the podium in the past in the Cooper class, and then the ever sideways Gideon Cresswell, who's done superbly well to make up several positions from the very back of the grid. There is number 3 car, Cresswell. He's passed by the recovering Kevin O'Connor, who's not really racing with O'Connor, rather a JTW class car. Amongst the Cooper class runners, the lead of the race overall, and the JTW class still being held by William Davison, although he is now under pressure from Jake Packen. So it's Chris Smith who has disappeared from proceedings, and Packen goes to the move around the outside and takes lead the race into Paddock Hill Bend. Classic Brands Hatch manoeuvre that carried the slipstream along the Bramham Straight, ducked out of the bubble. Around the outside he swept, and now it's the turn of Chris Smiley and also John O'Brown to try and gain ground. Brown, who drove up from the back of the pack in race 2, and he's converting that reverse grid front row start in race 3 very effectively. Gideon Cresswell, well, he's having to go right to the back of the field as he dives to the inside of Adrian Norman, taking the place. Norman, who's been a fantastic sport this weekend, alongside Patrick Mortimer, allowing his car to be used in the Russ Swift stunt show, although Swift never got as close to the cars around him as this leading group are now, as Chris Smiley looks to take the lead the race away from Jake Packen, which he does well before their arrival into Paddock Hill Bend. So it's Smiley, who's been threatening for victory all weekend, who moves into the lead. Lee Allen also able to slide through, gains the place on William Davison. Would appear as if Lawrence Davey is going to achieve that feat as well. He does on the brakes into Druids. Luke Cordell follows through as well. Great cleaning the pack slightly further back. There's Bob Hosier, who is coming under a bit of pressure from Craig Freeman, as Stuart Calder has had a moment, looks to recover it, slews around. Yep, the suspension completely broken on that as he moves across the track in the face of George Allen and the swarming pack behind him. Now I just wonder whether or not that is going to bring out the safety car. Calder, fortunately, is okay, the car rather less so. Smiley leads over the line, and he's now clear of Packen, who's coming under pressure from John O'Brown and Lee Allen. That group sweep down through Paddock Hill Bend. Lawrence Davey and Luke Cordell part of it, but they're going to have to cease hostilities at the moment because the new mini paceman pace car comes out, picks up the race leader, Chris Smiley, and they all slow themselves down. It's going to be a very, very frantic final few laps to this race. As ever, the excellent marshals here at Brands Hatch. Recovery teams get to work recovering Stuart Calder and also Chris Smith, who's pulled off to the side of the road, which solves the mystery as to why he disappeared from the leading group. As the fans get the opportunity to savour this magnificent field in the mini challenge. A number of additions this weekend to the Cooper class, and easily the largest entry to the championship this season. Let's hope it continues as the pace car pulls in, the race gets back underway, and Chris Smiley converting the restart with very, very good effect, pulling clear of Jake Packen, who's still got John O'Brown and Lee Allen on his tail, Lawrence Davey and Luke Cordell also part of this leading group. Adrian Wilmot as well, showing strongly. He's on the tail of William Davison as they climb up Held Hill into Druids, and Lee Allen looking anxious to get himself onto the podium once more. He's looking for the triple victory this weekend. That may be a challenge as Brown looks to the inside of Jake Packen. Luke Cordell does the same to Lawrence Davey. Neither move successful, but Packen's very slow. Comes Cooper straight. John O'Brown one side, Lee Allen the other, and they immediately dive through, take second and third place. So that brings Allen onto the podium. He's now going to find a way past John O'Brown and then Chris Smiley to make it the triple victory. And I just wonder whether or not Packen has got a problem, because he seems to be again slow on acceleration along the Bramham Straight. Yes, he is. Cars heading past him in every direction. It's looking pretty frenetic in the Cooper class as well, isn't it? As they accelerate along the Bramham Straight. There's Lee Allen and Luke Cordell busy doing battle on the tail of John O'Brown. This is for the second 2 spots on the rostrum, because the race would rather appear to be decided in favour of Chris Smiley at the moment. Smiley driven excellently since the restart and just pulled well clear. There's Shane Stoney and Hamish Brandon goes side by side for the lead in the Cooper class, and it's Stoney to the inside line who breaks very, very deep. The championship leader, who's had a mixed weekend thus far at Brands Hatch, would very much like to sign it off with a victory, but he is under pressure from Brandon and Ricky Page. And then just behind, where you have got Gideon Cresswell and Ollie Walker. So around the outside goes Hamish Brandon, sprints down the hill out of Druids to the inside line into Graham Hill Bend, and through he goes, or does he? Brandon certainly has the pace. He gets his elbows out, pushes Shane Stoney out wide, but Stoney keeps his right foot firmly planted. And this could give Ricky Page a very good opportunity here, as Brandon finally goes through, takes the lead of the class, but also some of the cars ganging up behind as well, who maybe aren't slowing themselves down quite as much with the ferocity of fighting. So into the final lap we go. Patrick Mortimer, Craig Freeman and George Allen busy doing battle. It's Allen's head of that queue, then the Team Skeletrix car of Patrick Mortimer, who's under threat from Craig Freeman, who dives to the inside to Druids and tips Mortimer into a spin. And I'm not really sure what Patrick Mortimer could have done there. He needed to take the corner. As what about this for the lead of the Cooper class? And it's Gideon Cresswell who's going to try and dive through the number 3 car to the inside of Shane Stoney, and maybe Hamish Brandon. The checkered flag goes out. It's Chris Smiley who takes the race victory from Jono Brown and Lee Allen. But what about the Cooper class? It is Cresswell who leads it from Brandon, then Ben Gridley trying around the outside of Ricky Page at Druids. Page gets his elbows out, pushes Gridley onto the grass, down into the left-hander of Graham Hill Bend they come. It's 3 abreast, and contact between Gridley and Page. It pushes Ricky Page off. Shane Stoney takes evasive action, and that opens the door for Ollie Walker to move past Ben Gridley and take 3rd in the Cooper class. So as they come through the final turn, it's Gideon Cresswell who leads the class, Hamish Brandon in 2nd, and then remarkably it's going to be Ollie Walker. You've got very long odds on that at the start of the final lap, who's going to take 3rd in the class as Patrick Mortimer heads over the line. It is a fantastic win from the very, very back of the grid in the Cooper class for Gideon Cresswell from Hamish Brandon and Ollie Walker. What a race that was to round out the weekend from the mini challenge. So here, the final results with the win for Chris Smiley from Jono Brown and Lee Allen, Lawrence Davey in 4th, with Will Davison and Luke Cordell completing the top 6. In the JCW class then, Chris Smiley wins it from Jono Brown and Lee Allen. And in the Cooper class, remarkable drive from Gideon Cresswell to claim the honours from Hamish Brandon and Ollie Walker. Brilliant racing, huge cheers on the top step of the rostrum for Gideon Cresswell and Chris Smiley.
I made my way up in the lead and Jake passed me and I passed him back again, and from there on I just seemed to get away with it. So wasn't say it was easy, but it was helped a bit, so it was good. So looking forward to Oulton Park now. I need a few points, so hopefully we can go forward from now.
Some fantastically close racing in the Cooper class. Tell us more.
The last few laps were just carnage. It was really good. I was just trying so hard to hang on, and Shane was pushing me hard, and it just backed everybody up and caused a bit of damage to a few cars, but we came through, and it was a fun race. It was a lot of fun.
Had Ollie right behind, pushing me along all the way, literally sometimes pushing me on, but it was good stuff. And then Hamish sort of started to run wide, and then I just had him into the paddock. I just, it was a bit of a gutsy move, but yeah, over the moon.
We got a good start, and then going into Graham Hill Bend, one of the JCWs tried to force a gap on us, and that dropped us almost to the back again. So it was just working our way out from the back, but I nearly had him. I nearly.
10 races into the season, and it's Shane Stoney who leads the way, although his poor weekend has allowed Josh Gollin and Hamish Brandon to close the gap. The first of the JCW runners, Chris Smith.
Some dramatic racing to top off a fantastic weekend here at the Mini Festival. We're now halfway through the championship with 4 more race meetings still to come. Join us next time at Oulton Park. In the meantime, you can check us out on Twitter, our Facebook page, and of course the Mini Challenge website. But for now, from Brands, it's goodbye.